All right, we're back with another essay at Comics Odyssey. Thank you for joining in. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. This essay is about Keith Giffen. People like this one at my Substack, link in the description, so I'm going to share it to YouTube. Keith Giffen, an overview of the legendary artist's work. I've written about Keith Giffen before on the Substack, but specifically about his most controversial work. But Keith has a long career in comics, starting in 1976. He has been both a writer and an artist, and succeeded at both crafts. In this post, I will cover the main highlights of his career on the art side, which is fascinating due to its dramatically evolving style. After working some junior jobs and ascending the ranks, Keith got his break as the penciler on a DC Comics teen superhero team called Legion of Superheroes. These sci-fi superhero stories take place 1,000 years in the future and are universe-spanning. This is what put Keith's name on the map. At this point, Keith was delivering a solid, conventional art style suitable to the genre he was working in. This is important to note, considering some of his later work has been dismissed as bad. But the guy has always had fundamental drawing chops. Here are some choice examples. So if you're on YouTube, you look at the screen. This is from Legion of Superheroes. Some examples of his figure work here. Storytelling. As the series progressed, it gained in popularity and made it to the number 2 spot, just behind the Marvel's X-Men. It's a strange phenomenon that this series reached this level of popularity and then faded from popular consciousness. During Keith's run on Legion of Superheroes, he became increasingly involved in the writing process. He was instrumental in the creation of the most beloved Legion of Superheroes story, the Great Darkness Saga. Eventually, he scaled back on his penciling duties and focused on layouts and plotting. In 1989, the Legion of Superheroes title was relaunched after publishing over 300 issues. The new title was called 5 Years Later and featured the same characters but as adults in more mature stories. It also featured Keith's latest style iteration. He utilized more claustrophobic in-panel composition and remained locked to a 9-panel grid for almost the entirety of the run. The new drawings shake off the strictures of superhero convention. Keith's mark making is choppier here, and his use of shadows is bolder. The lines are no longer swooping and elegant, but instead are playful and staccato. Immersive background work remains present throughout. Here are some examples. And again, look at the screen if you're not. We see the 9-panel grid here. Interesting usage of the grid. You can see the line work is more jagged, a little bit more jagged, a little bit more loose. Keith also continued plotting 5 years later and occasionally shared art duties with other artists drawing over his layouts. In a few issues, especially in one featuring Matter Eater Man, we see Keith showcasing his goofball, irreverent humor, for which he would become increasingly known for. Keith also wrote and drew some unique characters such as Lobo, Ambush Bug, the Heckler, and Vex for DC Comics. Often these characters were extensions of Keith's own mischievousness, through which he'd take pot shots at his peers. And here we see Ambush Bug um, making fun of Neil Gaiman's Sandman. You've got no sense of humor. You're deadly dull. Here's his Lobo, where his art style transforms more and more into what culminated into the Trencher. This is a very good series, The Heckler. It's very nice to look at. And this is an original character that Keith co-created. At Image Comics, Keith created his boldest and most controversial work, Trencher. I did a more in-depth analysis of this comic in a separate post here. And I think if you look at the video just before this one, actually I'll link to it in the end credits. As you can see, Mr. Giffen had a wide array of skills in writing and drawing, and an ability to modify his style according to the needs of a given project. His strong imagination and sense of humor are a legacy to cherish. So yeah, so that's a quick little overview of Keith Giffen's work. One of my favorite artists. Just very innovative, very interesting to look at. There's a lot of visual tension and a lot of textures that make the books immersive. So yeah. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the next one.